Pretty okay, better than expected. So had a good night of sleep. Everything feels quite okay. Yeah, we will see when I have to push hard on the pedals how everything feels. But I think at least it's better than how it was 2 months ago.
What was initially your plan for today?
Well, I have a small lead on Primoz and a more comfortable lead on the others. So I'm going to try to defend it. I think it's pretty easy stage with a hard final climb. So yeah, I think the days that are coming tomorrow and the day after tomorrow are going to be more hard in general. But I think it's already a first big test to see how my shape and body is to go half an hour all out.
Pretty much the same question on everyone's lips this morning. How body, mind, and how's the team as well?
Team is quite okay. Everybody just is a bit bruised up, but I think nothing in terms of fractures and stuff like that. So on that side, we were quite lucky. And then yeah, we'll have to see how the body is feeling during the first kilometers, and especially during the last kilometers.
Describe a perfect stage from your point of view today, perfect scenario. What's in your mind's eye?
A good breakaway that goes with guys not too close in the GC. They fight for the stage win, and then behind a small fight for the time gaps. With just a good team on the road, control over the race, and not losing any time. That's the perfect day.
Did you have to do anything out of the ordinary last night to get ready? Did you have X-rays? Did you have checks for concussions? What did the doctors do to you to get you ready?
Yeah, we did a check for concussion as my helmet was quite banged up. So a small check of the head, but no X-rays, no checking for fractures and stuff like that. So just some losing up of the muscles, especially in the shoulder and in my hip. But on the other hand, everything okay, so nothing special.
Do you actually feel lucky?
Sorry?
Do you actually feel lucky?
Yeah. I think for the crash that it was, I was quite lucky with the injuries.
It was fine, did the scans, some of them today in the morning, and yeah, we go on.
We have seen Bora riding quite aggressively every time the road went a bit in this Dauphiné. Was it the plan for today, and how this crash might affect or not affect it?
Yeah, I mean that we will know when we start riding, and then yeah, during the stage how really everyone is affected. But yeah, I mean it's clear why we are here. I mean we try to do our best. We will do our best, and that's all.
How important is that stage for the GC comparing to the two really hard which is coming up after?
Yeah, I mean actually I don't care about it. I mean I don't care about the result. I don't care about the GC. I mean yes, what we came here is yes to collect these racing days together with the team, and yes, that's something that we should take and aim for.
How's your right shoulder? You indicated yesterday that you injured it. That's the injury you had a couple of years ago, and you're worried about it. How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, I mean, the right one is good. The left one is the one that I was worried about, and is the bad one. But yeah, like I said, we did already this morning some scans. Yeah, there is some leak, there is some damage, but I mean it's okay to start today. And yeah, we just have to see how it will react and how it will go during the day.
And how difficult will those early kilometers be as everybody kind of feels their bodies out? Juan Ayuso says he doesn't even think he's going to continue in the race.
I mean, yeah, everybody obviously has their own considers and their own problems, if you call it like that. But when we are on the start line, I think everybody is the same. You don't really start with a bonus time or something on the way how much you are injured. And yeah, we just have to take care of ourselves, and definitely staying on two wheels again would be a good achievement.
You laugh about it every day, but how frustrated are you with, well, having to bounce back from these crashes?
Yeah, I mean, either I can just smile or I can just cry. So I still prefer to smile because yeah, some things are the way they are, and yeah, we, like I said, we have to take care of ourselves and yeah, try to show a great racing on the road.
Nonetheless, are you quite confident with your condition and well, the way the legs have felt this week?
Yeah, definitely. I was happy. Went into the right direction. That's why I'm following, let's say, quite some process behind, and yeah, I'm not really stressed here about the result or everything, but yeah, just more to get these racing days in the legs, to get the time spending with the team, with the races. That's what is the most important. Thank you.
Yesterday, you had your teammates Steve Kruijswijk and Dylan Van Barle abandon. Thoughts are with them, and also with the damages, but then also everything they've been putting into this season. You know how that is yourself. How hard is it to see your teammates out of the race?
Yeah, I just feel for them because just like on a human level, less than the injuries, I think neither of them are really in so much pain now, but it's like to lose so much hard work in such a quick instant, especially like Stevie. It's happened the past 4 years in various races. He was the leader in the Giro, got COVID, and then crashed in the Tour, and then the past 2 years in the Dauphiné lost his whole Tour de France prep. And just to see him in Sierra with him, he's such a strong-headed guy and works so diligently and hard, and it's not even for himself at this point. He's working hard to get skinny, fit, and ready so that he can help us. And then to lose it and not even be able to line up at the Tour is just, it's hard to see, and it makes me, I think, a bit more motivated to try to perform because I made it through and I was lucky. So I think, I have to use it as extra motivation.
Are there huge question marks in these early kilometers today to see how everyone is feeling the morning after? You know, the body reacts differently the next day.
For sure. I expect probably a breakaway will make it to the line today just because I think teams will be riding conservative, but you also never know. I mean, maybe a team has really a plan to take it on today, and that's totally fair. And yeah, I'll just react to however the race goes.
I'm just wondering whether you know the route today pretty well from your time in the famous green and brown of the AG2R development team.
Yeah, I know Col de Granier quite well. It was one of like the main training climbs when I lived in Chambéry. The last climb I have never done. It's just a bit too far from Chambéry to have done it, but Granier I know well, and especially like that complicated descent, I know quite well.
Yeah, you mentioned the complicated descent. A few guys have said it's very steep and it might actually be quite dangerous. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I mean, it's a road. It's a pretty normal road. It is steep, but it could be slippery if it rains. Any road in the world can be slippery when it rains, but I think for the most part we all know it's dangerous in there. So hopefully we all can stay safe. Yeah, thanks.
This morning.
Yeah, a little sore, but all in all, I think I got off better than a lot of guys, so I'm happy to still be in the race.
What was the feeling yesterday with all this chaos? Crashing twice in a row like that?
Yeah, it was painful. I forgot how much the tarmac hurts. It's just like, after the first time, kind of reminded me, it was like, oh, that was really painful, and then the second time, crashing again, it was just like, this really sucks, but that's part of it sometimes, but yeah, yesterday was exceptionally bad.
What do you think will happen today then? It's first one stage out of 3 really hard stages?
Yeah, I think I think it's probably the best chance for a breakaway today. I don't think, unless there's someone super dangerous getting in, I think GC teams, they don't really need to chase a break back. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a bit more of a calm day and then a race up the final climb.
The fact that many leaders have crashed yesterday, Remco, Primoz Roglic, can you hope that that will be maybe easier than it would have been without that crash?
Easier than.
I mean that they won't make a really hard race as expected because everybody has been injured yesterday. So
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be. Maybe guys will be a little bit less aggressive into corners, but I think in terms of how fast the climbs will go, they'll just be, just as fast.
I think a lot of people will be using those early kilometers to kind of see how they feel, and that was the case with Juan Ayuso. He's uncertain how long he'll continue, and he gives it a good probability that he will not continue. You feel okay this morning, and do you expect that a lot of riders are going to be kind of feeling themselves out as they go on in those first Ks?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to try to do a warm-up before the stage today as well, so I can try to, just check check everything out, see if everything's moving right, and hopefully the start won't be quite as much of a shock as yesterday.
How to avoid that in cycling? You know, if you look on the forums, everybody has answers. What does Nielsen Palace say?
I think yesterday was a bit of a freak accident. I think, I think there were a few riders that crashed even in the neutral going to the finish. I think the roads were just exceptionally slick. I don't think it was really. I don't think the organizers could have really done too much. I don't think the riders could have done much. I think. Even the mechanics were slipping trying to get us our bikes. So I think it was just a freak occurrence, and unfortunately, that's just kind of what you have to manage when we're covering, thousands of kilometers across France, and you can't make every inch of every road perfectly squeaky clean. So that's just kind of a reality sometimes. But unfortunately, we got hit with some bad luck yesterday.
Did it seem like a bit of an oily surface, or?
I didn't see any oil. I think it was just maybe it had been a while since the road had some serious rain. I don't know. I think maybe the road was had this, like the tar on it was maybe, I don't know, some people said because it was so warm last week that maybe the tar started to melt and came to the surface a bit, or maybe this rain brought some oil to the surface that had been on the roads for a while. But it's really hard to say, but I don't know. Only thing I know is that I haven't ridden on many roads that are that slick, and so hopefully that means I won't for a while again.
You got it over with. Well, good luck out there today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Last night we heard that you might not start today. Just give us an update on your injuries and how you're feeling.
Well, now I was saying I have to go back to the team bus, and I'm going to try and do some rollers to see if warming up the pain goes less and I manage to start. But what I've spoken out to the doctors, and I did a small ride around here to try and see if the pain goes down, and it's not the case. So I think probably I won't start today.
Where is the worst pain?
It's on both of my hips. To be honest, yesterday was. I have to laugh about it because I don't think there's many guys that can say that in the same crash they crashed 2 times. Because I was sliding, and then once I was sliding, I was scared that people from behind were going to hit me. So when I was sliding, I tried to sit up, and I fell again on the other side. And so I have both sides quite banged up. But yeah, the worst without doubt is on the left side, which was the first one when we all slipped. And it's my the worst part is my head.
When we heard yesterday that Niels Pollitt, your teammate, might have been the first guy to crash. Can you shed any light on that?
It was. Niels was the one leading the not the bunch, but our side of the road and our team. And when he got onto this black tarmac, which is it was just like an ice rink. He slipped, and everybody behind.
Is there anything to do to avoid that?
It's really hard to say. I've read a lot of last night of what could have been done and what could not, and it's difficult to say because it was light showers, so you cannot prevent something that just happens 5 minutes before. No, the only thing is I do think the parkour yesterday was super sketchy. Even after when we were neutralized and I was going through the last 10Ks. If we wouldn't have crashed there, we would have crashed out for sure. Because making this final, it's destined to happen something like this. So I think parkour-wise, they could have, I don't say avoid, but maybe minimize the risk. And also, when you see a road like this, you can fix it, no, and you don't have to be. I think when as soon as you see a road that has this black tarmac, it's when it melts and then it dries again, and then when it's gonna be wet. It's my mechanic, he fell on the floor when he was trying to run to give us the bikes. So of course you cannot prevent because as I say, it was showered just 5 minutes before, and probably in the dry it would have been no problem, no issue. But I think ASO, as one of the biggest race organizers that they are, next time I hope when they see roads like this, surface like this, they can at least prevent just parching these pieces of road, and yeah, we hope this is happening again.
And just one last thing. I mean, it sounded like you said to my colleague that you're pretty certain you won't be continuing in this race. You're going to give it a shot. And then thoughts go ahead towards the Tour de France. You get Tadej Pogacar as a teammate. What can you do to be ready? What do you hope to be ready? How do you hope to be ready in time?
I mean, best case scenario, if I can continue racing, then just stick to the normal plan. But the more realistic one is, I think, try and recover. And I hope, I hope only 2-3 days off the bike, and then from there try and get back to it as I will do normally.
Best wishes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, I don't see any bandages, but I know probably under the kit you're pretty scraped up. How are things this morning?
Yeah, correct. I went down yesterday. I had a crash like a lot of my colleagues, but I think it's all good. Superficial crashes, but we'll assess today in the stage how I feel. But never nice to go down, but so far it looks quite okay.
How do you think that's going to change the racing? Because in these first kilometers, some riders might try to take advantage of everybody's soreness. Some riders are trying to feel out their injuries to see if they can continue. How do you think it'll play?
Yeah, that's for sure. That I think it would change a little bit the dynamic. The question is who's going to pull today. There's a lot of kilometers before we hit the hills at the final, where the GC guy will probably move. But who do they want to pull behind? So I guess the breakaway will be some guys motivated who probably went down or didn't went down, but there would be some action at the start, and we will see. I think. How it play out, but I won't be surprised to see a big breakaway and take a lot of time stay there. So we will see.
Would you want to be that, and would you want to be in that break, and would you have the freedom to do that?
I would check. I will see how I feel when it starts. I do have the freedom, but it's a bit up to me to feel how I feel, and we will see. I think the fight will be quite hard and quite long. If another guy think like me, unless some teams start to show that they want to do the stage, then it's a different story. But you need one team who's willing to keep the break at 4 or 5 minutes, and then it's fine. But if nobody wants to pull, then that it seems to be the case since we start the race. The GC team, they pull back a little bit. Visma, they lost 2 guys yesterday, so we will see.
We all kind of breathed a big sigh of relief when we saw the first images that the guys weren't as injured as what could have been. What was the feeling, looking around your colleagues and within your team? I think the team still has all 7 riders here.
Yeah, we have everyone, luckily. Of course, it's not things I love to see. The nature of the race, you have to be there, you have to be in front, you need to fight, you need to race. Unfortunately, when one goes down in this situation, it's domino effect, and you can be as good as you want. If one goes down in front of you, you go with. So that's something I think we cannot really control, but there's a big reflection to happen on what can we do to make it safe when we actually already know that the road that were slippy, and we went full gas in. There's people in place who should have a thinking on what can we do better to try to keep us a bit more safe, because I think sometimes we are a bit vulnerable on the road.
And I didn't get your story. What was your story of the day, the crash? How did it happen for you? You just ran over someone else, and then what are the worst of your injuries?
In the downhill, I was on the right side. I had some margin of safety, so I thought it was good. Everything was going fine until somebody appeared in front of me from the middle of the road. They wipe out to the outside, and I had no place to escape from the grass because there was some post on the right side. So I took the decision to go down on the asphalt, and I was just on the limit of the asphalt and the grass, and there was some rock. So that's mainly what scratched my back, but it's not like deep road rash, but like just on the surface. Should be okay, I don't see anything. I hit my head a little bit, so I want to see with that, but should be okay.
Best of luck today.
Thanks. Thank you, buddy.
Derek, a lot of riders came down yesterday, obviously. You look pretty unscathed. Tell us if we're right.
Yeah, I mean, I went down, but came out of it lucky. I think a little banged up, but I should be all right.
And looking forward to today's stage. Obviously, a steep final climb. I think it's going to be about 35 if you go really quick effort. Talk to me about how you hope to enter that climb, what the sort of orders to the rest of the team are in terms of positioning you?
Yeah, I think honestly, yeah, just trying to set myself up in the best position. I don't have any expectations really in terms of, you know, how I want to go. It's a big unknown. But I think just, yeah, guys did a great job looking after me yesterday. Obviously there was the big crash, but hopefully the same thing today, and just try and give myself the best opportunity to have a good ride and see where I end up.
How does it change the racing now? How do you think going into today, all the bodies are sore? How do you think it changes things?
I think it's tough to tell, you know, how the big GC guys are feeling, how they came out of yesterday. I'm sure everyone has a ton of unknowns, and I think everyone's going to be lining up kind of nervous to see how the body feels the first couple kilometers. So I'm sure there will be some calls on the team like, hey, I feel good today or not, and I think that'll dictate how the race goes.
I don't see any bandages on you.
No, I got really I got lucky. A bit of bruising, but yeah, no complaints.
Thanks again. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks.
Jack, how did you survive yesterday without crashing?
Probably quite a bit of luck, maybe a tiny bit of skill, but probably mostly luck, to be honest. Yeah, it was incredibly slippery yesterday in a real nasty crash, and I hope we see everyone more or less uninjured. Obviously, there's going to be a few people out there, but hopefully nothing major.
You're down to 3 riders. You had an additional one abandoned this morning. Who are the riders left?
Yeah, we have Santiago, myself, and Fred Wright. Yeah, unfortunately, we've lost a few riders along the way. And yeah, a few guys didn't start today after going to the hospital last night. So it's quite unfortunate, but it's what it is.
Jack, just looking at the road where the crash happened yesterday, it was almost as though there was a sort of sheen on it, almost as though the kind of top had been kind of taken off it. Roads like that, are they per se dangerous when it's wet?
I think yesterday showcased, yeah, it probably is dangerous. But I don't know, it's complicated because we race bikes, and yes, everyone was fighting for position at the top of this climb, going into this downhill. A few people were shouting to go easier, but at the end of the day, everyone's still racing, and it's our natural instinct when we are racing to want to be in a good position, fight for position, and it's something that some people say, as the riders, we should try and get together and try and make it more safe. But it really needs to come from that external person to really try and make that decision, because as riders, we're never going to make that, because we also have a lot of pressure to deliver results. And if we're seeing, no, I wanted to sit at the back and I wanted to go really easy on that downhill because I thought it was slippery, then we have someone to answer to. But if the organization or someone does something, then it's a much easier decision. But it's complicated. It's really hard to make this decision. All right.